Let's go back to the year 2004. You're a typical wrestling fan. You just seen Randy Orton attempt to murder a 55-year-old man at Taboo Tuesday. And now you're going to turn on your PS2 and play the best wrestling game ever made, Here Comes the Pain. And for that little moment in time, everything seems good with the world. Then suddenly the world's on fire. Because you find out that the critically acclaimed Smackdown series has been cancelled. And instead of another Smackdown game, THQ will be cooking up something new and different. Which of course everyone reacted extremely well to.
I'm gonna rip your head off.
Then on November 2nd, THQ released the first ever Smackdown vs Raw, with quite frankly the sweatiest Vince McMahon I have ever seen. Seriously, the man looks like a glazed donut.
Just looks like there's a layer of butter on the top, doesn't it?
Now this game had pretty big boots to fill. It had to follow up Here Comes the Pain, which everyone absolutely adored, the expectations were through the roof, and the make or break question was, is it good? Well, yes. I mean, of course it was. They made like 6 more of the fucking thing. Now, you lot have been wanting me to take a look at this game for quite a while now, and to be honest, I didn't know if I wanted to or not. I had much more important things on my plate, like failing my degree and pretending to be Spider-Man. But when I shoved that disc into my PlayStation and booted the game up, boy, was I happy I did.
Oh boy, yeah.
Like, the first thing you're greeted with is the choice to either be Team Smackdown or Raw. Then we get oh, Jesus Christ. Now, normally in previous games, you'd get a nice little video package on the main menu, but not in big horny Smackdown vs Raw, because here we get some sexy divas dancing about as seductively as your Minecraft girlfriend.
Here is the right place for you.
What the fuck? To be fair though, they have got some fire tunes to dance along to, because the soundtrack slaps hard. Now obviously, I can't really play the soundtrack because UMG would raid my house, but I'll give you a quick taste of some of the fantastic lyricism at play here. Naturally, after you've admired these sexy polygons strut their stuff, you'll obviously want to jump straight into a ring and play as some of your favourite wrestlers. Like, Guy Fieri, apparently.
Is there any resemblance? Big brother, little brother?
You see, it's very apparent that in between the time Here Comes the Pain and Smackdown vs Raw was made, a lot of big names had left WWE, probably because they want to become Twitch streamers, and we all know how Big Vinny feels about that.
I now own this entire stream. Give me all your money.
Yeah, I bought him.
The roster just isn't as good as previous years due to a significant lack of big names, but hey, at least we have a train. On the bright side though, the game still looks pretty decent. Sure, some facials on wrestlers have a slight tendency to look fairly strange, but I can't really criticise a few wonky looking models considering the game came out in 2004. The same year as Spider-Man 2, and we all seem to love that game despite how it depicted my man Tobey Maguire. Besides a few exceptions, the majority of the models look accurate, the different pay-per-view sets all look fantastic, the entrances are pretty great as usual with lighting that really makes those muscles look beefy, and as expected, all the moves are filled with murderous intent.
Holy shit, you fucking killed her, dude!
Now if you've played and enjoyed the previous Smackdown games, then you'll undoubtedly enjoy this one too. The gameplay is effectively the exact same as Here Comes the Pain.
They're the same picture.
With a similar grappling system which keeps matches varied and a concussion-inducing amount of chair shots. The only difference being it's now playing at 0.75 speed. Don't get me wrong, the game still as action-packed as ever, with moves that could break your Grand's hip if she just looked at them, but it has been ever so slightly slowed down from previous renditions to add a little bit more of that realism spice to the game, which is enhanced by features like wrestlers stopping mid-match to sell and smaller wrestlers being unable to lift the big guys because they forgot to take their hourly protein shake. However, even with this sense of realism, the game still maintains its heavily arcade-like gameplay. Like THQ only dipped their toes into the idea of simulation, unlike 2K who beat it into a bloody mess. Also, a really cool inclusion here is that Smackdown vs Raw now lets you pick whether you want to play as a dirty, disgusting heel or a squeaky clean babyface. If you're a clean face, you can do things like taunting, top rope moves, and giving away to charity that will all build up your clean bar, which when it fills, you pretty much go Super Saiyan and your moves do 10 times more damage than they usually would. But if you're a dirty heel, then you can do such dastardly tactics like removing the turnbuckle pads, using weapons, ruining the ref's day, and disliking Mr. Beast videos.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Which this time will build up your dirty bar, and when that fills, you can commit some lovely testicular manslaughter. The whole good guy versus bad guy dynamic is such an integral part of wrestling, so it's really cool to see it integrated into this game in a unique and fun way. It doesn't just stop there though, because THQ has sprinkled in some nice little features like a pre-match stare down which turns into a quick fisting, a chopping minigame which is fucking infuriating to do, and of course, a spanking minigame.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
The core gameplay is as fun as it's ever been, with these new mechanics only helping to improve the experience. But while it's good, much like your mum's lasagna, it isn't quite a 10 out of 10.
I feel like I'm eating donkey's cock.
Like previous years, top rope moves are still broken, the AI probably has 2 brain cells max, running moves can be a little finicky, and on occasion, stuff just doesn't go to plan. Okay, maybe that happens a lot of the time, but at least you'll get there eventually. Fuck. Also, there's stuff that just annoys me, like how nameplates take up about 50% of the screen, and how they've just forgotten to add in winning animations. Like after a match, you just kind of stand there awkwardly as the crowd goes, wild? But perhaps the biggest sin of all is that for some unexplainable reason, THQ decided to cut out the option to roam around backstage or have a casual brawl outside WWE New York, which was something many fans, myself included, really enjoyed doing. It was arguably one of the best things about the Smackdown game, so to see it gone was a heavy blow to my heart. Instead, what we can do is play a parking lot brawl, which is nice and all, but it doesn't quite fill that hole in my heart, THQ. Maybe playing a bra and panties match will help. Now I'm dead inside. But in saying all that, I still think the game's super enjoyable to play, with a ton of match types and modes which are bound to keep you entertained for at least 5 minutes. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, this game has a season mode, which is something that always tickles my pickle.
I'm pickled. Alex.
But of course, I need to create a brave soldier that will fight his way through dozens of ferocious wrestlers, which brings me nicely onto the creation modes. They're good. Like, what more do you expect me to say? It seems besides a few, notable exceptions, with every new WWE game, the creation modes continually got better and better, and with SmackDown vs Raw, that couldn't be closer to the truth. Create a Wrestler has more options than ever and can let you create the man or woman of your wildest fantasies. Is that Logan Paul? Yeah. But not only can you create a wrestler in this game, you can create both a new shiny championship belt and your own pay-per-view, with some, fantastic matches.
Would you buy that? No, y'all wouldn't buy that!
They're pretty nice inclusions to the game, even if you'll never be able to afford your beautifully created title. And to be honest, Create a Pay-Per-View is just a glorified exhibition mode, with the only difference being some additional cutscenes like the show intro hype packages to the main event, and of course the commentator speaking in deafening silence. Seriously, there's no audio for these parts, which makes these cutscenes pretty weird. But overall, it's a solid creation mode, only improving on what Here Comes the Pain had, so I'll give it a lovely thumbs up. Anyway, I didn't have time to stand in awe at my own fantastic pay-per-view because I had work to do. I got in touch with my artistic side, creating the perfect physical specimen, and after countless hours of tiresome work, I finally created the wrestler that was going to destroy any opponent placed in front of him. Unfortunately though, that ended up being Logan Paul if he somehow lost all of his money.
Like, I'm definitely going downhill from here.
Did that make you nervous?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm terrified. I think it's the beginning of the end.
I mean, to be fair, the resemblance is uncanny. He's got the same old hair, some fresh drip, and he's even got a Maverick tattoo on his stomach. Because, you know, he's got to get that bread. Oh, and yeah, he does have a horn. I mean, Undertaker likes it. Yeah, Mark, I gave him a unicorn horn. What do you think about it?
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Anyway, with that done, I moved on to actually playing the season mode. And, I won't beat around the bush here. It's very much a mixed bag. Don't get me wrong, it's 100% a fun experience from start to finish. But I'm unsure if my enjoyment from the game was intentional or not. Case in point, Rene Dupree.
I'm gonna kill you. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you. I've had just about enough of you, pal. Next week, I'm gonna show you what happens when you mess with me, my woman, or my dog Fifi.
You see, this year was the first year WWE attempted to do actual voice acting in the game. And, holy fuck, it's a train wreck. Right, I get it, these guys are wrestlers, not fucking DiCaprio, but holy shit, the voice acting is a beautiful mess of overacting, underacting, and people not knowing where the fuck the microphone is.
WrestleMania is 1 month away, and so I'm proposing we make it the biggest WrestleMania ever.
Eric, if you could talk into the
I'm
mic. No,
proposing
Eric,
we're
the
in the
mic,
main
the mic is
For
in
the
front of you.
first
Eric,
time
for
ever
fuck's
at
sake, talking to the mic.
WrestleMania.
No one tried. There is no way you can convince me one single person recording their lines gave a solitary fuck about making themselves sound vaguely interested in what was actually happening in the context of the game, and it baffles me that THQ were just like, yeah, that's okay. Leaving the game with the majority of the wrestlers having the emotional range of a block of
Cheese.
As a result of all this, the season mode is quite frankly a masterpiece in my eyes, deserving nothing more than the highest accolade possible. So here you go lads, a 10 out of 10 IGN score. You deserve it. To add to all of this, the animations for a lot of characters can either look slightly over the top or be filled with sexual tension. There's no in between, and the facials are honestly a work of art. In fairness though, there's never a dull moment because there's constantly stuff going on, and every month you get another storyline thrown right at you.
I might let you play Santa.
Whether those storylines are good or not though, is another question entirely. Arguably, the storyline that goes from the Rumble up until WrestleMania is actually pretty good, with a consistent narrative that's seen Big Logan here win the Rumble, then win the WWE Championship at No Way Out, for reasons, and then go on to have a 3 Stages of Hell title unification match with the Snake Man himself, Randy Orton, at WrestleMania, where Logan not only proceeded to murder Randy Orton, but also Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon as well, with the biggest show of the year ending as he stands over their lifeless bodies victorious in the ring. Makes a change, I guess. However, everything before that is, kinda meh. Like, the storylines aren't particularly that interesting, ranging from wrestlers randomly attacking you backstage to Logan trying to seduce every woman he sets his male gaze upon. Seriously, this man collects them like they're fucking Pokemon cards. There's just not any consistency here, with stuff randomly happening for no reason. And while the season mode has good aspects, like having a lot of different match types and cool hype packages, I can't help but think if THQ had put a little more thought into the writing department, this season mode could have been substantially better. Overall though, even with these issues, I still found it pretty fun to play, and there's definitely much worse things you could do with your time. Plus, once you've earned enough money, you can buy another sexy diva loading screen. Wow, money well spent. So with that being said, that's everything the game has, and in all honesty, I actually like this game a lot more than I originally thought I was going to. Would I play it over Here Comes the Pain or Shut Your Mouth? No, but I can admire the game tried something new, with some stuff working out really well, and other stuff not so much.
Hey, what are you doing?
Step bro.
But as far as wrestling games go, it's definitely a really decent game, and laid the groundwork for all the other SBR games to come. So on the SBR tier list, I was going to put this slap bang in the middle, but then I remembered Renee's dog Fifi, and I instantly moved up to an A rank.